All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the Warrenton Board of Aldermen public hearing section for the Cuban voluntary annexation, and I believe we have Chris Graville to speak for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Board of Aldermen. On the public hearing agenda for tonight is a notice of a public hearing, which was advertised in the Warren County Record. This is a request, and Mr. Keevan is here to answer any questions. Do you guys have any questions? It's a petition requesting annexation into the city of Warrenton. There is a petition that was signed by the property owner's representative that I would ask to be made a part of the record, and also to be made a part of the record the notice of publication and an actual copy of the publication, which was dated April 19th, 2018. There is also in your packet that I would ask to be made part of a record is a detail prepared by Lewis and Beatty, which shows the areas of property that are proposed to be voluntarily annexed into the city at the property owner's request. If you guys don't have any questions, Mr. Keevan is here if you want to ask him any questions about the property.
All right, we will give this, we'll give anybody in the public a chance to speak. If they come to the podium, state your name, we'll give you 5 minutes to speak. Just on the public hearing section. Not seeing anyone. We'll go ahead and bring the public hearing session to a close. We'll go ahead and open the regular Board of Aldermen meeting for Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. In the session, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh wait, I'm not ready. Go ahead. Okay, next would be the oath of office for Ward 2, Scott Schultz, who was unable to attend last meeting, so we are glad to have him here and get him sworn in today.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
for the position of Alderman
for the position of Alderman
of the city of Warrenton
in the city of Warrenton,
as prescribed by law.
as prescribed by law,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws
the provisions of all laws
of this state
of the state
affecting this city
affecting the city
and the code of ordinances
and the code of ordinances
of the city of Warrenton.
of the city of Warrenton,
And I will faithfully demean myself in office.
and I will faithfully defend myself in office.
Congratulations. Now you can officially vote after you sign that. Next item will be the consent agenda items.
First item is the regular meeting minutes from April 17th, 2018, and the appointment of Dana Belasca to the Community Improvement District Board to complete Gabrielle Curry's term of 2 years, expiring on January 16th, 2020.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderman Schultz, second by Alderman Shell Harvey. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz,
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey,
Yes.
Alderman Costello,
Yes.
Alderman Ock,
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next is hearing from the public. If there's anything you'd like to discuss, we ask that you come to the podium, state your name, we'll give you 5 minutes to speak. Not seeing anyone, we'll move on. Next is the Board of Aldermen comments.
Mayor, I have one comment. I spoke with Bob Tukin of the Deerfield operation, and he's president of the Downtown Association. And he was going to be here tonight, but I guess maybe he had something come up. They had discussed at one of their meetings the possibility of asking the city to take out an ad on the a road sign, big road sign on the interstate billboard, with something to the effect of shop in Warrenton's downtown historic district, something to that effect, some kind of verbiage. And he was asking if the board would be interested in partnering with them to do that.
Well, I saw him as late as last evening, and he made that same request, and I think that has been done in the past through tourism, hasn't it?
Tourism used to have billboards that they leased annually, but they have gone away from that for the last couple of years.
Right.
So now we just rent billboards for the specific events. For a long time, the city had different, shop local or shop Warrenton, kind of
Right.
generic ads.
Right.
We really didn't see that we got a lot of traffic from that.
His suggestion last evening was that he thought when the new interchange opened that a billboard in close proximity to that as you approached from the west coming east would be a real positive thing for the downtown district. And I think he also mentioned that coming the other direction, something close to the off-ramp. So that was his, sounds like a very similar request he made to Alderman Miller.
Do you know, Terry, what the cost to lease one of those for a year?
In the tourism budget, if I remember correctly, it was about $24,000 a year.
I was representing, even when I was on the tourism commission before I was on the board, it was pretty high dollar, and I think that was what we looked at, how to get the best bang for the buck. And we had one in just the other side of Forestell for the westbound traffic, and then the other one was
High Hill.
High Hill.
Yes, right outside of Hale.
And it was very expensive. We didn't think we were getting the bang for the buck, so we just decided to go with the special events ones. So,
How long ago was that, Mike?
well, we just started going with the regular ones the last 2 years, wasn't it? I think the last
I
2
had
years.
heard that the cost of those had dropped dramatically. There was a number of them open, but I don't know if that's true today.
I don't know. It depends on what company you dealt with, and the location. So, I don't know. It'd be something we could look in, or have the tourism commission look into again. But I don't know. The thing was, all the other thing was we kind of run out of messages. We didn't really have. We had generic messages there, and it really didn't resonate with anybody.
I know Bob is, one of the things he's trying to do or wanting to do is to increase downtown traffic, people coming downtown to see what's going on. And our dedication to revitalizing downtown, I think we need to do all we can as a city board to partner with them to do.
Well, maybe if they'd want to co-op with us.
Well,
Let's say, you had mentioned partnership with them. Is that the Downtown Association he's speaking about?
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't we see if they can just talk about it and then petition with the Tourism Commission, and we can discuss, we can put on a discussion topic.
Yeah, that's fine.
Especially since the interchange isn't immediately done right now. It'll give us a little bit to maybe discuss it and have the tourism discuss it and the Downtown Association discuss it.
And maybe the special events make sense, because they're talking about putting on several different.
June 23rd, I think.
And then maybe
We have there's a tourism meeting coming up middle of May, isn't it? So,
Yes, we do.
so
And I
if he wants to get on, that'd be a thing. Ask him to.
I think it would be
contact me.
helpful for somebody to come with facts.
Well, we could go back.
Otherwise, just getting together and talking about what might be And we need some current rates from
We can
the
get that
billboard
from-
companies, I would think.
Is there any way we could get that, Terry, that would help Mike out whenever he's there for representation?
It might be better to let someone other than the city research that,
Get
because
it.
it seems like when they hear the city of
They will get a
Warrenton, they
better
think,
rate. Sure.
Is there any way, as a representative for Downtown Association, you get a hold of
Yeah.
Bob and maybe
Sure.
ask them to make some phone calls?
If, do we have a phone call? Do we have a phone number?
I'm certain we can get one. You can get it off the internet too.
Okay.
But we can provide that,
Okay.
Some way we'll get it.
no problem.
Get it if you would to me, and I'll give it to Bob. And
well, you've got two, Porlier and
DDA
DDI.
is probably the most popular one around here.
And then you got some
He is the most-
DDI boards, there's several different companies.
Lamar's another one. I think we may have had him with Lamar,
I
didn't we,
think
for a
we
while?
did.
The latest ones, I believe, were with Lamar.
Yeah,
okay.
sounds right.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was an article this morning on the TV about the city of Festus their police department has done a special project dealing with red light issues. And I wonder if we could kind of look into that, because I've had a number of people over the last few months complain about how many near misses they've had at the interchanges because people are constantly running red lights, turn yellow and they go through on red. And I'm not sure what the Festus Police Department is doing. It's a special project. I wonder if we could look at that and see if that's something they're doing that might help us, because you hear a lot of it from anywhere from the South Service Road up to the North Service Road, where it's really dangerous, and if you don't stop at the light when it turns green and wait, you can run into that issue a lot. So I don't know if there's something we can look at to see if we can maybe make people aware that we're watching or something special. So but it was on City of Festus Police Department was doing that.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to bring to the board and the mayor's attention an issue that I think is just getting worse, and that is we're going through all this effort to bring our downtown district back, both through encouraging businesses and a city investment. And I am just dismayed at the amount of vandalism that we are seeing in the downtown district. Everything from breaking glass in the alleyway. It wasn't just glass, it was thick mirror. I know that Cindy Burke had to clean up the glass in her alley before they could even drive through there. As recently as last week, there were some hollow clay tile blocks that were broken. And it's simply disrespect. I believe the two front panes were broken out of one of the buildings in the next block, 2 blocks up. And it just seems to me if we don't try to do something about that we're going to see it get worse. Without trying to point fingers, it seems to me that what we have going on is a lot of skateboarders wanting to find a place to skateboard. And we had looked at this in the past. What you hear from parents is, well, our kids don't have anything to do. Well, guess what? 40 years ago, when my son was 12, you heard we don't have anything to do. The city has built a municipal pool. It's now building its second aquatic center. Incredible parks, incredible athletic fields, and it's still, our kids don't have anything to do. So, having said that, I would like the board and staff to consider placing the skateboard park facility back for consideration. I think law enforcement has a tough job. Catch kids skateboarding where they're not supposed to be, tell them to stop. Well, where do we go? Well, just don't do it here. I happen to own part of the building where the Dollar Tree is at, and one of the other owners spends half his time chasing kids off. So I don't think that would be the total answer, but at least it would be an attempt to try to move kids to an area where they are welcome to skateboard. I hear that the facility in O'Fallon, that the kids that go there almost like take an ownership interest in it and kind of take care of it.
At least,
So I know it's an investment. I know it's going to be looked at as an expense. But I think it's time to at least consider it. Mike, I know your neighbor mentioned to me that they're seeing vandalism coming into their woods. We literally had 3 youths walk across our backyard 2 nights ago. Kathy's standing outside, and the one says the other puts the skateboard down, and he says, well, she's standing there and goes, I don't care. Skateboard right across the back driveway. So,
and I believe, I spoke with Main Street Realty, and they dealt with some graffiti on their new fence. They had put a...
well, it's a fence between
I guess it
our
wasn't
property
new
and
to that,
theirs,
but,
and
yeah.
yeah, they,
I've seen skateboarders skating on our pavilion behind City Hall and have told them you need to read the sign. Can't do that. So it is a problem, which Greg's bringing up. It is a problem.
Can we, would be open to putting on a discussion topic? Can we
Yeah.
discuss it a little further? Maybe
Yeah.
and get some input from the citizens.
To me, we don't need a lot of discussion on this. This is a clear and obvious issue that we need to put as a priority. I probably have 20 skateboarders going by my place every day. I mean, these kids need somewhere to hang out, to do their thing, and I think the project that you guys initiated a while back of putting it where the old ball field used to be, or by the Baptist church, would be great, because that's where a lot of these kids are coming from, and that area there. They're all over the place, and they're just looking for some, whether it's going down the railing at church, or whether they're running, they're just looking for some place, and I think we need to move it as a priority project and see if we can get it done ASAP, in my opinion.
Well, we have the engineering in the upcoming budget. We've already talked about that. So when you all approve the new budget, then the engineering to try to get that started will be in there.
Well, can we pre-approve the engineering before the budget so that we can move the project? Because I'd hate to go through one budget cycle of engineering and then have to wait for the project to get done. Because that's going to drag it out till next summer.
We certainly can. We don't have a lot of extra time right now with the park that we're trying to get completed to really take on another big project, but we could get the engineering started.
I mean, that would be my preference if the board wouldn't object, if we could just, because this is not going to go away. It's just not.
we talked about when we agreed to spend the rent money to help Jordan's place. It's not a matter to me of not being willing to spend city funds to help youth and juveniles have something to do. I just think we need to spend our money wisely and in a positive way. Make sure we've done that.
Gary, you asking for a motion tonight, or can you put it on?
Well, I don't know, do we need a motion or?
I need to bring you something to
be able to do that and see how much
Put it on your radar.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Right.
No, thank you. for the
Just,
time.
I was at the ribbon cutting yesterday for the Pregnancy Options Center. I think it's the biggest crowd I've ever seen for a ribbon cutting, and I would like, on behalf of the city, I think we ought to welcome them to the city. It's like I say, I couldn't believe all the people that were involved in it, regardless of your religious affiliation or whatever. There was a lot of people that came together to make this happen. And I think one of the biggest thing was probably the couple, Roger and Andrea Romaker, in memory of their son Tyler, who had gotten killed. they, along with the Knights of Columbus, provided an ultrasound machine for the center, and I think it's going to be probably another, just like Agape or some of those things. It's going to be another positive thing for the city.
Where's that located, Mike?
It's on Southeast Street there, right behind George's Place in that little strip center right there. So,
This is the second year they had a fundraiser for that as well, and it has grown in size. So I agree, but it's catching fire.
Yeah, people who were in charge of it was really.
Yeah.
I agree.
It was very good, very, also kind of eye-opening, like I say, as many things that are going on, and that's, again, another positive direction, I think, for the city.
I agree. Got a run? We're just going down the line. One thing, just in my comments, I think several board members have probably been approached. I know I was approached, and I think we all got emails. Councilor Graville, where do we sit on the low mileage or vehicle? Low speed vehicle ordinance.
We brought it to you with all of the
Changes.
and indicated on it what was state and federal required, and you all chose to think about it and consider it for a while.
So you want us to put it back on the
Please do,
agenda?
because it's becoming a topic again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think one of the
I think
mayor
we're pretty,
said one of the laws had changed or something to.
I believe there's, for some of the UTVs, the laws changed. I just got schooled in it. I was very surprised.
okay.
Driving on the street right now.
Yeah, they actually are allowed on the street within a 3-mile radius for if it's an agricultural or to get to your property.
Well, I know the city of Troy has had that issue, and I've talked to, did it come from Lincoln County?
No, it actually came from an event that was hosted over in Jonesburg the past week, 2 weeks ago.
There's always been an exception for agricultural machinery under Missouri law. If there was a change that occurred this year, it wouldn't go into effect until August 28th, so we should have some time to see. I did not see
I
any
believe it was
bills.
a change last year, but it is to include the UTV type vehicles.
Okay, I think we'll put it back on the agenda, but
I think that language was already in there.
yeah, I think it may have been in there last year, but when we put it in there, but I think our ordinance is pretty comprehensive, and I think it has all the information and the concerns that we have from a public safety standpoint, so we can put it back on the agenda and you guys can take a look at it again.
The 3-mile state ordinance, as I understand it, doesn't require turn signals, doesn't require, a lot of the things that you have put into our ordinance, which I think it's good that they're there.
Just required flashes or something.
Yeah, because that ordinance, I think just requires that triangle
Right.
reflector on the back, and you're good to go, as long as you're within 3 miles of home. We had a razor go right by the house Sunday night.
Well, I mean, the city of Troy had this issue, and the city attorney actually called me and talked to me about just to brainstorm how to handle it, because they had a resident that lived in downtown that owned like a 1/4 acre that was saying they were using it for agricultural purposes. I think the zoning for the particular area matters. I think there's a question about whether it's agricultural implementations.
Correct.
But I'll definitely look into that.
It's a difficult thing. I think it slid in last year, and I think it's been
Okay.
very difficult for even the Missouri State Agricultural Patrol to enforce. I know there was some aggravation there, and it's not a clear-cut thing. So
Okay.
I just,
We'll take a
I
look
was
at it.
flabbergasted by some of the stuff I was schooled on with it, because I just didn't realize that they had included the UTV in that agricultural purpose type, or the farm implement type thing. Anything else? I'm sorry. All right, next we'll move on to the approval of caterer liquor license for La Mocha Restaurant located at the Shops at Warrenton on May 5th for Cinco de Mayo.
Motion to approve?
I'm sorry, you second it?
Second.
Okay.
Is this just for one day, or is this for?
This is their,
It's just for
Just
the one
for the
day to
one
have
day.
outside. They're
for
going to be on the
one day?
sidewalk.
Okay, that's
for
for,
Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
All right, a motion made by Alderman Costello, seconded by Alderman Schultz. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Next will be speaking about the collaborative meeting with the Warren County R3 School District on May 8th at 6 p.m. at Central Office. Are we all aware of that?
One thing, if I could make a few comments,
Sure.
just so we don't walk in there totally in the dark maybe about it. I did go to the last meeting with of the advisory group, and I know, I guess if you read in the paper, R2 and R3 have both voted to go to realign with St. Charles Community College. So at this meeting, St. Charles Community College was there, the president, everybody. They had the president, the head of curriculum, and there were a lot of things talked about. One of the things, they're moving forward pretty fast. They've established 4 committees, one for curriculum, one for financing, et cetera, and one for communications, and I forget what the 4th one is, but they're moving forward rather quickly with this.
The realignment.
The realignment, yeah. They're waiting on the MCCA, which is Missouri Community College Association, the state association. They're waiting for their approval, which the president of the community college, she mentioned that she had talked to them, and they said as soon as they got the approval to realign from R2 and R3 schools, they would expedite approval on their end of it. So it looks like everything's going ahead with it. The demarcation line will still, like south, the southern part of Warren County, which will remain realigned, will remain aligned with East Central Community College. So, because that's part of Franklin County School District, so it'll stay down there. But Warrenton, Wright City, as such, would be realigned with St. Charles. So that at least gives you a little background on what they'll probably want to talk about too, as far as.
I think that's listed as the last issue we'll be talking about.
What's that?
The agenda that we've received, that'll be the last issue
Yeah.
that we're talking about. We've got a lot of movement.
Well, my only thought on this was item number 2B, finance future tax abatements. I mean, do we know, did they put this on? Did we put it on? Do we know what the discussion topic's gonna be? Because if I recall right, on the last TIF vote, the school didn't vote for the TIF district. So I don't know if this is relative to those kind of issues as more TIF projects sort of come up, if they're have a position on this they want to discuss, or do we know?
We do not know. The only topic we put on was the community college.
Does
All
it-
the others were things that they already had on the agenda.
Does it specifically state tax abatement, or does it say TIF?
It says tax abatement.
So there is, I don't know, so there is an ability for a city to do tax abatements for 10 years, where the city basically can abate property taxes of other jurisdictions. We have never done one of those, and there's like a number, it's like, if Mark Grimm was here, he'd spout it off. There are some cities that utilize that. We have never utilized that tax abatement process. So, I don't, and you guys have never considered that. We've done TIF, which is the capture of 50% of the increase in the property tax, but that's not truly an abatement.
Well, I didn't know how broad that question of financial future is. I mean, they have in brackets tax abatement, so I didn't know if there was several issues tied to that topic line or was simply tax abatement. Did we not, tell me if I'm wrong, did we not do a tax abatement on the industrial park years ago?
We
the city of Warrenton received $10,000 per job created from the State of Missouri Economic Development Council to specifically be used for infrastructure.
Right.
That is water, sewer, and streets. And at the time, there was a match, and our match was the actual installation of all of the water, sewer, and then the streets were done commercially, the concrete streets. So the only other abatement I can ever recall was on Walmart, Super Walmart, when they came. And that was, I was just coming back on the board, I want to say as Alderman.
But that wasn't even really truly an abatement. That was an agreement we signed with Walmart to return. We did not, because we didn't, the county did not want to participate in any
Correct.
type of,
Yeah.
so we basically abated their sales tax
Sales
over
tax
a period
for
of
7
years.
years.
But it
Yeah,
was only the city portion.
It was
didn't
only-
affect any
right.
other taxing.
So that wasn't really a true tax abatement
No.
in the sense of it related to real estate or personal property.
yeah, I mean, I would, to be honest with you, it would be nice if we could get some clarification if they're referring
Right.
to TIF or they're referring to, because it is a concern across the state, this tax abatement that cities
Sure.
can use because, it does limit, it's not a mechanism that this city has ever entertained or
Right.
even discussed as a mechanism. So if, it would be.
We will
ne-
ask
Yeah,
for
because
clarification
because it,
on that topic.
if it's the tax abatement, you guys have never done that. If it's about the TIF, that's a little bit,
Right.
that's not an abatement.
Yeah, but they did not support the TIF. if I
Right.
recall
Right.
So I didn't know,
Had
it
two-
was presented as one thing and it's really a discussion about something else too. So-
Yeah, that's a concern because like I said, if it's about truly the abatement process cities can use, we don't use it, we've never used it. It shouldn't be a concern, but if it's about the TIF, that,
And the forming of, a realigning of the college district and placing bricks and mortar here, what I understood through the whole process, and I certainly believe that Warrenton, Missouri is connected to St. Charles Community College. We've got tons of young people that have gone there and drive there daily, so there's obviously a connection there. I think my personal concern, I know, was that this 21 or 22 cents of real estate tax that would need to be placed on to literally put a facility in Warren County needed to be passed in the Warren R2 and in the Warren R3 school districts. And to answer your question, that has to be placed on the ballot by those two districts. It's not a city issue, it's not a county issue, it's a school district issue. And that's why I always felt that the school boards and superintendents of those two districts are the ones that need to be looking forward as to whether they're going to need other increases in tax, real estate tax, to operate their schools, that I didn't feel comfortable suggesting to them they needed to put a tax on or take a tax off. So that was,
And in all, and that's one of the reasons, the one committee that is the financing committee, they're looking at, what it's going to take, to financially build
sure.
a facility, and then to maintain it. So that's the different things that particular committee will be looking at. One of the things is to show you how fast St. Charles Community College is wanting to move. They're wanting to find maybe temporary facilities to actually start having classes out here as early as this fall.
And this is in regard to the trade type classes.
Both. They're looking at all sort of IT training, everything, welding, but they're also looking at, I think nursing was mentioned and some of that stuff. So they're, but again, that's what the curriculum committee is kind of looking at. But they're wanting to get rolling ASAP as far as.
How does the Wentzville School District play into this, Mike? Because it would seem last time we heard this proposal, it would be placed just inside the Warren County line, which to me would have a significant more benefit for students in the Wentzville School District as opposed to somebody out here. Is there a discussion as to, I mean, where this is gonna be, and is it still gonna be by force still? Because that, I don't see how that's.
There's been no talk about that. They said that's one of the things they were staying away from as far as this, again, and this is still in the exploratory stage as far as actual, but the last thing they said they would be looking at was where location. Now, I know there's been rumors that, oh, it's gonna be Forestdale because of this and that, but I asked that question and no, it's not, there's no determination yet on that.
And I know they're saying that. I think a lot of those rumors came directly from a conversation with Representative Brian Spencer, who stated it was forced out.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I think maybe he jumped the gun, but he should have stated it. That's kind of where it's.
Because I think it's one thing to support the concept if the location sits within the common school district area, because if we're trying to make it easier, accessible, and quicker, it would make sense that either should reside somewhere between Warrenton or Wright City or somewhere in those school districts as opposed to on the outer fringes of one district. It probably would benefit, my guess, is the Wentzville School District more.
Well, you also had Representative Corman, who stated to me that in his mind it would be better if it was west of Warrenton, so as to also pick up some of the Montgomery County school district
Right.
kids. So, yeah,
It's something we can discuss with them.
yeah, I agree.
One thing I noticed under new business on their agenda, it has district goals and then it's got City of Warrenton goals. You know what they're,
We need to have our goals laid out before you come to the meeting.
well,
Yeah.
our goals are pretty much in operation right now, but
Now, our city administrator, you're going with us, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think on some of those goals that we have are laid out in our 5-year
Yeah,
strategic plan.
absolutely.
So it's kind of a big one to be able to handle.
gotcha.
Is somebody gonna go in here prepared to discuss city goals? So when we go in there, they say, what about city goals? And we kind of stare at each other.
Would be happy to do that
All
if
right.
you'd like.
I noticed that she volunteered.
Who
She
are-
raised her hand quite quickly. I couldn't-
Got no problem with that.
Invitation to all the board to go, is that my understanding?
And do we
Because I mean,
have another
they're
meeting
calling
May
the order.
10th?
So when they call the order, it's gonna be a quorum.
I
So everybody's
think so.
Do we have any other special meetings I need to report to my scheduler with?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Thank you.
Get trips planned.
Any other statements on this topic?
topic?
What's that?
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from, this is the new title, City Administrator Terry Thorne.
Thank you, Mayor. My first question for you this evening is in regard to the sales tax holiday. Every year at this time, if you recall, we ask the question if the city desires to continue to be a part of this. If we want to continue, then we don't have to take any action. If we want to opt out, then it's necessary for us to notify the state of that desire to opt out. So the back to school sales tax holiday this year is Friday, August 3rd through Sunday, August 5th. We typically have always been a part of this, so unless you wish to change that,
How many years have we done that?
ever since it's been in inception, and I want to say that's been 7 or 8 years, but time gets away from me.
I think my view is that we are clearly a sales tax driven community. Our budget is very affected by sales tax, and I think we ought to continue what has made us successful.
I guess the question is there anybody that opposes it or would like to opt out of it? I think you've got your marching order on that.
Okay. Fair enough. At your desk tonight, you had the listing of the board and commission openings along with any suggestions that have been received for persons who might be interested in those positions. So if you do have others that you've thought of since, please let me know so I can get those on the list for the mayor's consideration. We are in a significantly bad situation with our tourism commission.
Yes.
One of our members is moving out of town, and so I believe it's May 17th meeting will be the last meeting in which we are able to have a quorum and hold a meeting unless we get new members on that commission. So tourism is imperative that we get taken care of very quickly.
The third candidate, suspect that you have on your list, does she live in town?
I did not pursue any of these. They're just names that were given to me.
Can we do some,
I'm sorry?
I'm just gonna, I feel like we're heaping it on you, but
That's
is there any
okay.
way we can make contact with the 3 people, find their addresses, and get a little more in depth on that?
Sure.
I'm not sure if she doesn't live in Columbia.
I think her mom does, I don't know.
Okay.
I think Mallory lives here.
Does she?
I think so.
But,
Is there be okay with
Dana,
having her pursue
Tammy,
that?
yeah.
How many members
Tammy was gonna
should be on the
Dana.
tourism committee?
That'd be a good question for Terry.
I'm sorry.
Alderman Miller proposed a question of how many people are comprised on the tourism board? I believe it's 5.
But you have to try to fit into these categories of general
It's very
business or
specific.
hotel, motel. Hotel, motel is always very difficult.
It's for someone who lives here.
Exactly.
Very difficult.
It's a resident.
So if any of you do have other individuals you think might be interested in getting to me, please. And we will try to I'll get answers for you, Mayor, and then get this list back to you
And
quickly.
I will try and, I know there was somebody here in the past month and a half who mentioned planning and zoning, but weren't really enthusiastic about it, but try and dig through my brain and figure out who that was and re-ask.
Fair enough. Also, this just happened today. I believe that Melody made a copy and put it at your desk. We received a request from Kelly Anders in regard to mow rides associated with Boonsville Regional Planning for a letter of support. They're applying for a grant. Looks like maybe from MoDOT. And so there's a request for your approval for the mayor to sign this letter of support for the Mow Rides Program grant.
You good with that?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
I think we've done it in the past, correct?
Make a
Is
motion
that
to
something
authorize-
that we could incorporate into the North 47 situation?
There were some parameters around it. I know we've asked in the past, but we can ask
It
again.
doesn't fit. It has to be a regularly kind of scheduled situation, other than individual rides that are planned. So,
That was one of the first things I think we thought of and asked. And they said it doesn't fit in the parameters of what we do.
Okay,
But it does create another option.
It does, it does.
So I'd make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign that
second.
request.
Motion made by Alderman Costello, seconded by Alderman Miller. Roll call vote.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Finance Manager Dana, and I hope I don't butcher, Velasca.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So tonight I am requesting your approval of our accounts payable claims or invoices we're presenting tonight. So for a total amount of $684,710.78. Were there any questions regarding that claims list?
We thought when we heard you, our claims list would become significantly smaller.
Or go down.
Well, I am happy to say that we're making progress on the pool project.
Yes,
So we have a pretty big payment in there for
yes,
that.
yes.
I'm happy to say that I see you stand your ground through the little program. It's good.
Not
I knew it was coming, and I'm just glad you handled yourself quite well. Good.
Welcome
Good for you.
Welcome to City Council.
I'm sure you were pre-warned at some point.
Oh, yes, I've heard of you guys.
I'll make a motion that we pay the accounts payable, I'm sorry.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Alderman Shelby, seconded by Alderman Schultz to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $684,710.78. Roll call vote.
Alderman Costello.
Abstain?
Alderman Ock.
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one abstain. Or abstaining. Monthly finance report?
Certainly. So we've also included financial reporting year-to-date in your packet. Just wanted to touch base on some of the highlights of this. So when we look in the general fund revenues, we have sales tax revenue year-to-date of about $2,060,000. So within 1%, or really within 1% of budget, they're about $1,000 difference. So things are looking good in sales tax. We come down to franchise fees. $55,000 over budget for franchise fees, and that's primarily because of an Ameren class action lawsuit that's been settled. So $26,000 of that 55 is related to that. When we look at expenses for the general fund, operating expenses for the general fund year-to-date are a bit lower than budgeted, and primarily related to the vacancies in the different departments. Police has had some vacancies. Really, all the departments have had some vacancies, but it looks like we're trying to get those filled, and that should turn around. When we look at the enterprise fund, the water and sewer fund, total revenues about $277,000 over budget. Also in there, we have the industrial sewer, which is running about $193,000 over budget. My understanding is there we made some reductions in forecast as we were budgeting last year related to the Coca-Cola activity of their plant. And it turns out that they've been a little more active than we anticipated, so that's what we relate that increase to. So again, those are the highlights of those financial statements. So if there are any other questions related to the financials, otherwise I can get your approval.
Do you have any questions?
Very good.
I would make a motion to accept the financial report as submitted.
Do we generally do that?
No?
No?
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, we're good.
It's okay.
No, we're
We
good.
can.
No.
I'll second your motion. Very good.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Certainly.
Sorry? Thought you were asking a question. So we are at that time. We are moving into executive session, litigation, legal counsel. So I will entertain a motion to close the regular Board of Aldermen meeting and go into executive session for litigation and legal counsel.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, second by Alderman Shell Harvey. Roll call vote.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz.
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey.
Yes.
Alderman Costello.
Yes.
Alderman Ock.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. We are so adjourned, folks. Thank you.